Welcome back to Operating Systems Crashcast. I'm Victor, and today we're diving into a crucial aspect of operating systems: protection and security. Sheila, why don't you kick us off by explaining what these terms mean in the context of operating systems?
Absolutely, Victor. In operating systems, protection refers to mechanisms that control the access of processes or users to resources defined by the OS. Security, on the other hand, is the defense of the system against internal and external attacks. While they're related, protection is more about managing resources internally, while security deals with threats from both inside and outside the system.
That's a great distinction, Sheila. Can you elaborate on why protection and security are so important in modern operating systems?
Certainly. In today's interconnected world, operating systems manage vast amounts of sensitive data and critical resources. Without proper protection and security measures, systems would be vulnerable to data breaches, unauthorized access, and malicious attacks. These could lead to financial losses, privacy violations, and even compromise national security in some cases.
Absolutely right. Now let's talk about some key concepts in OS protection. One of the fundamental principles is access control. Can you explain what that means and how it works?
Of course. Access control is the mechanism that regulates which users or processes can access specific resources in the system. It typically involves two main components: authentication and authorization. Authentication verifies the identity of a user or process, usually through methods like passwords or biometrics. Authorization, on the other hand, determines what actions or resources the authenticated entity is allowed to access or modify.
Excellent explanation. Related to this is the principle of least privilege, which is crucial in both protection and security. Can you tell our listeners about this principle?
The principle of least privilege states that every program and every user should operate using the least amount of privilege necessary to complete the task. This minimizes the potential damage from accidents or malicious actions. For example, a user account for daily tasks shouldn't have administrative privileges, and a program that only needs to read a file shouldn't have write access to it.
That's a great point, Sheila. Now let's move on to some more advanced security concepts. Can you talk about the role of encryption in operating system security?
Certainly, Victor. Encryption is a critical component of OS security. It involves encoding data so that only authorized parties can access it. Operating systems use encryption to protect sensitive data both at rest, stored on disk, and in transit, being sent over a network. This ensures that even if an unauthorized party gains access to the data, they can't read or use it without the decryption key.
Excellent. Another important security feature in modern operating systems is the firewall. Can you explain what firewalls do and why they're important?
Sure thing. A firewall is a network security system that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predetermined security rules. It acts as a barrier between trusted internal networks and untrusted external networks, such as the Internet. Firewalls can be implemented in both hardware and software, and they're crucial in preventing unauthorized access to or from private networks.
Thank you, Sheila. Now, let's talk about a real-world example to illustrate the importance of these concepts. Can you think of a notable security breach that highlights the need for robust protection and security measures?
Absolutely, Victor. One infamous example is the Equifax data breach in 2017. Hackers exploited a vulnerability in the company's web application software to gain access to sensitive personal and financial information of millions of people. This breach highlighted the importance of regular security updates, strong access controls, and encryption of sensitive data, all key aspects of operating system security.
That's a sobering example, Sheila. As we wrap up, could you summarize the key points we've covered about protection and security in operating systems?
Certainly, Victor. We've learned that protection and security are crucial aspects of modern operating systems. Protection focuses on internal resource management, while security deals with defending against both internal and external threats. Key concepts include access control, authentication, authorization, and the principle of least privilege. We also discussed more advanced security measures like encryption and firewalls. Remember, in today's interconnected world, robust protection and security measures are not just nice-to-have features. They're absolute necessities for any operating system.
Thank you, Sheila, for that excellent summary. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode of Operating Systems Crashcast. Remember, when it comes to operating systems, protection and security should always be top of mind. Until next time, stay safe and keep learning.